Madam Chairman, thank you for the hearing today, and to our witnesses, thank you. I've had an opportunity to read your stories in your testimony that you've provided to the committee, and I've heard many stories from Alaskans, most notably in this past couple weeks, from women who are really very distraught about the Supreme Court ruling in the Dobbs case. But the stories that you have shared, from a personal decision to terminate a pregnancy, to the challenges that parents or family members face in accessing care, to the stories that women who visited clinics such as Stanton and decided to continue a pregnancy. I think they all demonstrate how these are very deeply personal, deeply complicated, and of course incredibly challenging decisions that far too many women face each year, and clearly that Americans hold deep and conflicting convictions over. When it comes to decisions that are so personal, that are so complex, and have such an impact on a person's lives, I think that that choice must ultimately be in the hands of the individual and not in the government. And that's where I came down on vaccine mandates. It's where I come down on abortion. But I think that, like so many other areas, there are nuances, there are gray areas. Many Americans, myself included, believe that it is reasonable to not require those who are firmly opposed to abortion to support it with their tax dollars, and that providers who do not wish to be involved in abortion should not be forced to be. But what I would hope that we can agree on is that it's in the best interest of everyone to create a system where fewer women face this choice in the first place, because everybody has adequate access to and knowledge about contraceptives, and because women and families have the support that they need. But ultimately, I believe in limited government, individual liberty. I support a woman's right to make her own health care decisions, and that means reproductive health care. I'm working with a small bipartisan group to ensure that the rights that women have relied on for the last 50 years, as established in Roe and in Casey and in Griswold, that these are protected. And I hope that at a minimum our legislation will demonstrate that there is a majority in the United States Senate that supports these basic rights. And I know that folks are all like, well, how are we going to get this legislation passed? And so kind of the knee-jerk response here is to take on the filibuster. And I want to just raise this because I think that it's tempting to call for the removal of the filibuster so that we can do something. But I would ask my colleagues to take the longer view and think about what elimination of the filibuster would mean for both sides and for our country in the future. In the recent years, the filibuster has been used multiple times to block attempts to restrict access to reproductive health care. 3 times, in 2015, 2018, and then again in 2020, pro-choice senators used the filibuster to block a 20-week abortion ban. It was used to stop a blanket ban on funding for Planned Parenthood in 2015. There were numerous other times to prevent the erosion of reproductive rights. I think we've got to look at this again down the road. The balance of power in Congress moves back and forth. Without the filibuster, do we really believe that a different majority would not seek a nationwide ban on abortion and find a way to succeed in enacting it? The filibuster is really one of the few mechanisms that protects the rights of the minority. So I raise this because I think we need to be looking long-term at this.